Ooh. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Hello and hi, welcome to my video. In this one, I am going to be talking about my recommendations for the upcoming Bandcamp Friday. It is one of the very special days on Bandcamp.com in which 100% of the proceeds will go to the artist if you make a purchase from them. Now, I think there is a caveat there where I think it's like the artist and their label, except I don't know the exact details of that because it varies artist by artist, but I think you kind of get the picture here. And so with that said, I wanted to go over my recommendations for what I think you should spend your money on. As you may know, on my YouTube channel, I specialize in Japanese artists, and so for that reason, we are only going to be talking about Japanese artists who are on Bandcamp. And luckily there are a ton, some of which are incredibly famous, and some of which have like 30 followers on Spotify. So I wanted to start off with artist discographies that are available on Bandcamp, and then after that, I am going to be talking about specific albums that I think are worth your time and your money. So let's get into it. In the number one spot, we are going to be talking about the band Suichu Spica. So I had actually covered their album back, I think in January. It is fantastic. They are a math rock band and they are excellent musicians, and I love the lead singer who is named Chiaki. She has a fantastic voice. Also, while she sings, she is also on guitar as well, which is just incredible. I love pretty much everything from them, and so that is why I have spent money on them IRL. So if you have seen my video on them from my channel, you would know that I made this purchase. It is a signed CD. I believe it cost me $30. And then when I purchased it, I got a free download in pretty much every file type you could want. However, if you do not want to spend $30, you can instead get the digital album on its own for only $13, which is a fantastic steal because this is a fantastic album. And because the instrumentation is so fantastic on it, having it in FLAC is beautiful. It's like you're there. Now, while I am highlighting this album specifically, they do also have their two previous albums on their Bandcamp as well, and I would really recommend you check those out because they are equally as fantastic. I think of the other two options, my favorite would probably be the one called Osim or Ozim. That is their second album, and it is, like I keep saying, fantastic. Check it out. This one is going to be $9. So go crazy. Next, I'm going to be talking about Mass of the Fermenting Dregs. Now, if you don't know them, you are completely missing out. They are probably one of the best, I wouldn't quite call them math rock, though I would call them progressive rock. They are mainly a punk band. They don't have all of their albums on here. However, I would say that they've got some of their best material on here anyway. That mainly being their 2018 album called No New World. This is one of my favorite albums ever. I think I would rate it an 11 out of 10. And I am lucky enough to have a signed vinyl of it because I met them at a show, and I was lucky enough that they actually adopted me as their own. So for $12, you can get one of my favorite albums of all time. This is a steal for $12. This is absolutely fantastic. Sure, it's a little short, but this is just some of the best music I have ever heard in my entire life. I think this is maybe my fourth or fifth favorite album just of all time. It is miraculous, and they followed this up with their 2022 album called Awakening Sleeping, which is also on Bandcamp as well, for 2,000 yen, and if I convert that, that's going to come out to $14. This is also a steal. I would say that this album is a little bit more shoegaze, and I would say a little bit more dance house a little bit too, but in the case that you are a longtime fan and you would like some of their original songs, they also have their Live in Japan album available on their Bandcamp too. Now, it's called their Live in Japan album. However, I believe they recorded it live in a recording studio. So it's not live, and it's really well recorded too. So it's more or less a greatest hits album, but with much newer recording techniques, and it just sounds a lot more organic and real as opposed to whatever they recorded those earlier songs on back in like 2008. This one is also going to run you about $13. And like I said, it just has some of their most popular songs ever. I don't know why you wouldn't buy this. I just don't know how you can go wrong with any of these fantastic albums for less than $15. Okay, so next up is my favorite band of all time. That is going to be the band Tricot. Unfortunately, only their first 3 albums are actually available outside of Japan for download. However, you do have 2 options here. You can either make your purchase from their US label or from their UK label. I believe the purchases from the UK label are like $1 cheaper on average. However, you're supporting them as opposed to supporting the label over in, I believe, Portland, Oregon. I know it's Oregon for sure. I'm just not quite sure if it's Portland, but I mean, probably. The album titled 3 is my favorite album of all time from any band ever. And for $8, it can be yours in pretty much any file type you want. I just don't know how you can go wrong with this either. They are an absolutely fantastic band. They will knock your socks off, and I have lots of videos on them, so maybe go check those out across my channel. I actually have a whole playlist for it, so synergy, baby. Next up is another band that I feel like needs no introduction. That is going to be the math rock band Toe. They are luckily on that same Oregon-based label, so you don't have to really look too far. They have everything they've ever made available here, including their fantastic album from last year called Now I See the Light, and that is going to run you $10. Like, what the hell? I think my favorite thing about this band is the drummer. He is immaculate. He carries each song, and they know that. So for that reason, he's mixed loud. And I just love that so much. Now, personally, my favorite album would be their one from, I believe, 2008, which is called For Long Tomorrow. Absolutely beautiful piece of like math rock, jazz, and just kind of indie rock. However, I think their fan favorite would be the album called The Book About My Idle Plot on a Vague Anxiety. I think my second favorite would either be their newest or that one called Hear You from 2015. But the book is not a bad album either. Next is a super cool artist that I just managed to get tickets for because she'll be here in Seattle in September, and it is going to be the artist Haru Nemuri. She is a rapper, singer, and her music is guitar, hip-hop, screamo, hip-hop, rap, rock, hip-hop, poetry, spoken word, hip-hop, rock music. It's so cool. She's all over the place. She has a fantastic stage presence, and luckily a lot of that will actually show up in the recorded versions of her music too. It is kind of hard for me to choose a favorite project of hers. I think personally I would have to go with her newest album because it has a song on there called Who the Fuck is Burning the Forest, and that song is so cool. I love it so much. And let's see how much that album is. And so while I look for that, I should mention that she has 3 full-length albums, and her first is probably the fan favorite. I feel like the second really gets forgotten frequently, but that third is personally my favorite just because I really like all of the sounds happening there. It is called Shunka Ryogen, and it is going to run you €5. So my question to you is, do you have €5? Because if so, you need to buy this. It's going to run you $5.76. Just buy this. Next up is probably the most famous band on here because I feel like they extend to normies as well as weirdo Japanese music fans like me, and that would be the band Lamp. So believe it or not, they are actually on Bandcamp, but there's a caveat with that too. So some of their music can be purchased digitally. Some of it can only be purchased via physical CD, and they do not restock often. And I doubt they'll restock for Bandcamp Friday. However, if you are interested in their very first album, which is called For Lovers, you are in luck because you can purchase that digitally. Or, I think for $2 more, you can get a CD of it, but then you'll have to pay for shipping, so it's maybe like $5 more or maybe like $10 more. And the other thing with that, however, is that it's going to cost you $18 for the digital version. But I think if you really love this album and this band, you are going to make that sacrifice. Or they also have their 2023 album here too. It is going to be $25, but I want to say it is like 2 to 3 times as long as that first one. So you're kind of getting more value, I suppose. And on top of that too, this album's still really good. It is called Dusk to Dawn. Yes. And it is fantastic. I liked it a lot, and it was probably one of my favorites of that year. I really recommend it. And I recommend you check them out. I recommend you give them some money because they are so weird and they don't like to engage on the internet much at all. And I want to show them that they need to put all of their music online because they are struggling with that concept for some reason. And I could go into it, but it's kind of a lot. It sort of involves a rant about TikTok. It's just a whole thing. It's kind of crazy. So next up is the band Downy. And they just came out with their newest album in, I want to say, March? Well, let me check on that just to make sure. I think it's March though. March 5th. So although I have not covered this album yet on my channel, it is super cool. It is very punky. It is very atmospheric. It is just super dark and I like it a lot. I think you will too. I can't really tell you the name of it because all of their albums are actually titled Untitled. So you are just going to have to look for the album titled 8th Album Untitled. So I guess that's fairly easy enough to do. Aside from this one, I also really like their 7th album. Believe it or not, it's called Untitled. And yeah, now I will say this is going to run you $15. So maybe check it out on streaming if you're not quite sure you're gonna like this. I think you will, but I could see this one pushing the spending budget, I think. So get back to me on it. Let me know, but I think it's worth the $15. Okay, now for another artist that I have covered on my channel, that is going to be the artist Acet Clank. Now, I talked about his 2025 album called In Dissolve, I think a month ago, maybe 2 months ago now, and it is so cool. It is an audio experience, and I need to own this in FLAC. From what I can tell, his entire discography is on here, so you can check that out too. The album I keep talking about is called In Dissolve. It is going to be like $14, $15. And so one other thing I'd like to mention too is that I have actually talked a lot about these artists on my channel already. So if you are interested, you can find some of their videos all across my channel because I love these artists. And as you can imagine, I'd love for them to get paid for their art. So check those out if you have a chance. I think you should take the plunge, or if you want, you can listen to it on streaming first. I don't think you should. I think you should just buy it. Or if you would like to get the vinyl and the digital album, it will cost you maybe like $30, and that's not bad at all. So lastly, in the discography section, I want to talk about Ichiko Aoba. Now, not all of her music is actually on here. I believe it is missing, I think, for sure her first album, and I think a few after that. However, she has her most recent on here from this year. It is a beautiful album. It's called Luminescent Creatures, and it is divine. She also has her very, very acclaimed album titled Windswept at Dawn on here as well. That is going to cost you maybe like $13. Dog, buy that. That is so good for $13. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. So personally, I really like her newest album a little more than Windswept at Dawn, and it's only $11. I think you should get the new one. That's my hot take for the video, I hope. Okay, so next up, I want to take a short break, and I want to talk about some very quick live highlights. So I guess this non-sponsored section is sponsored by Audiotree. And I think if you don't know who or what Audiotree is, you are missing out. They are like a radio station program on the internet, and they will have varying artists come on and they will perform, and then they will capture a video of it in very high quality and will also record it and then release it either on streaming or here on Bandcamp. And with that said, I would like to highlight a few Japanese artists who have actually appeared on their program in the past. Okay, so first up, believe it or not, I want to talk about Tricot. They have their 2018 performance on here for $5. The selection is mainly from their newest album at the time, including their newest EP at the time as well. And it's probably one of my favorite live performances ever. Please, please, please check this one out. You are going to love it as much as I do, hopefully. Another I'd like to point out is actually the May Simonis episode, which is going to run you $7. So I have actually talked about May Simonis a number of times on my channel already. I have talked about her first 2 EPs. Her new album comes out in, I think, 2 weeks. Actually, it comes out on Bandcamp Friday, so if you want, you can buy it then. And I know I will be because I've already pre-ordered it on there. So last but certainly not least, I would like to talk about the performance for Haru Nemuri. Honest to God, when I want to listen to Haru Nemuri, I just listened to this Audiotree EP. This is her playing her most popular songs with this like totally like raw energy to it, and it is fantastic. And also somehow the pacing is perfect. I don't know how she does it. She is an amazing artist, amazing singer, and you can really tell from this Audiotree performance. I highly recommend this. This is $7. Personally, I think it should cost you like $100. It is just so high quality. Please listen to this, please buy it, please do anything you can, because this in particular is some of her best work ever, like just straight up. I should be getting some kickbacks, man, holy shit. Okay, so now I want to highlight some individual albums. In these cases, some of the artists have more of their work on Bandcamp, but these are just some I want to highlight because I think these are very exceptional and I think they are worth your time and money, like I keep saying. I am losing my voice, and I don't think the LaCroix is helping. All right, first and foremost, let's talk about, this is going to be the Sakana EP by the band Dount. Now, I have actually talked about Dount's 2024 album, I think back in November of last year. Loved it a lot. They are like indie rock, they are math rock, they are garage rock, they are lo-fi rock, they are super cool. I like them a lot. And actually, the best thing about this EP is that it's free. Please, 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 please go download this. It's free. And then if you like it, give them more money because they have more of their stuff on Bandcamp. However, unfortunately, their album from last year is not on Bandcamp, but they do have their others on there, so you can check those out. Next up is from a very cool up-and-coming band, and I'm actually planning to talk about them on the channel soon. I just have not filmed the video yet. This is going to be the 2024 EP from the band Ivy, and it is titled Yure Programu. This is such a weird and cool mix of indie rock and also kind of shoegaze and also bedroom pop, and I guess what I would call bedroom rock and also glitch pop. It is fantastic. They are a technically rock duo. The lead singer here is also the lead singer of the band Cephalo, who I have also covered in the past too. She is amazing. She is a fantastic songwriter and also, believe it or not, does a fantastic job. This is going to run you like $5.50, just buy it. Okay, next up, I'm kind of cheating, but not really. This is going to be from the UK band called Quero Quero Bonito. It is going to be their, I believe, 2018 album titled Time and Place. It sounds like you are listening to a creepypasta in the best way possible. This is an indie rock, garage rock, noise pop album. It is pretty much unlike anything else they had made leading up to this point. It is so cool, it is rocking, and I love it a lot. It is going to cost you $10 for the download. That is an absolute steal. For $10, you are going to get 12 amazing songs. Not much else to say other than if you don't know what this is, you have to find out. This thing is crazy and everyone loves it. Okay, so next up we have the 2025 album from the band Kinoe 64, and it is called Nichijo Shometsu, and that means Everyday Extinction. This thing is crazy. It is all over the place. It's kind of electronic, it's kind of pop, it's kind of rock. I'd say it's mainly like noise punk for the most part. It is very fast-paced and also high energy and also incredibly crunchy sounding. It's not for everyone, but this band is crazy. I think last year they came out with 3 albums, and they do that a lot all the time, and they're all really good. And this one is probably in my top 3 for sure. I think my absolute favorite is probably the one called The Time Machine School, though I did also like their album from, I think, November. That was titled After School. Yes, that one is super good too, but The Time Machine School, probably my favorite, though I think this newest, maybe a close second, maybe. There's a lot of back and forth listening you kind of need to do because they come out so often, so close together. They kind of blend together for that reason, which is not a bad thing in any way, mind you. Nichijo Shometsu is going to cost you $6. I think you should just buy it. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. Or you can get their entire discography for $5. Yeah, or you can just buy it all for $5. That's crazy. Okay, so up next, we have an album that I think just keeps getting better with more age, and I listen to it all the time. It is so infectious. It is the album Occult by the artist Moe. This thing is so much fun. It's so cool. It is dream pop. It is glitch pop. It is breakcore a little bit too. There is a lot of very obvious sampling on here as well. I think she has a fantastic production style, a fantastic voice, and I love the way that she writes songs just in general. Here, you can get her debut album with all 10 tracks for about $15. This is fantastic. This is awesome. I like it a lot. I really recommend it, especially if you are into electronic music, particularly city pop, dream pop, electronica, and indie pop, J-pop, pop, Japan, electronic. Those are the tags on the bottom of the listing. I think they're all pretty appropriate. You should check it out. Next, we have the EP called Ramble in the Rainbow by the band Tom Tom. Now, for longtime viewers of my channel, you would know that this is the first review I ever made. So this thing is a little special to me for that reason, I suppose. But this is an absolutely fantastic neo-soul, kind of progressive rock, maybe sort of in rainbow sort of fashion. But what I love on this album is the general vibe. It is so chill, it is so relaxing, and it is just a cool album that you can impress your friends with. And then they'll say, whoa, this guy's so chill. I actually like him a lot. He seems sick. I love the instrumentals across this entire album. They are just fantastic, and they just slide you into like such a relaxed sort of mood. This is going to cost you $7. I'd purchase it right now if I did not already own it. And I also have the vinyl, which is sold out, so you're never getting it. So you missed out. You should have bought it when I told you to last year in my review. Big mistake. Should have listened to me. But anyway, I love this. I think you will too. Please check it out. It is immaculate. Okay, so this next one is a little bit out of pocket, and that is a bit of a pun, which you will probably understand here in 1 second. So this is going to be the, I guess, debut album technically from the artist Theodora Katz, and the name of it is Henry's Pocket. Now, Theodora Katz is not her real name. Actually, her real name is Maho Itani, and she was the bassist for the band Seapool. And if you don't know who Seapool is, I'm sorry, you missed out, because they're no longer together as of 2023. But oh my god, they made some of the best punk and post-rock so far in the 2020s, and it is a shame they are not together anymore. I want Maho Itani to make it big. She is a fantastic bassist. I love her a lot. I think you'll like this a lot too. But you gotta buy it, you gotta listen to it, because I don't believe it's on streaming at all. And hopefully it never gets delisted, because then you would really be out of luck. And I don't want that to happen to you specifically. I'm really losing my voice now. Whew. No karaoke for me after this. Next up is a really cool throwback to the year 2011. This is going to be the debut album from the band Burn. This came out in 2011, but last year they actually remastered it because they finally came out with their second album after 13 years. This is so cool. It is noise rock. It is such a vibe. It has so much power in it and passion. And if you don't know this album, I'm surprised, because it is fantastic, just heavy shoegaze. And if you do like this, their second album is also on Bandcamp too, and it is just as good as that first one, though I think it's a little shorter. It's still fantastic. Really recommend it. I love the album cover too. It goes so hard, and you can get it on vinyl too, so I might even do that, honestly. That is something I'd like to have in my collection for sure. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about a band that I absolutely love. They are very indie, they are very small, and they are called Seventh Jet Balloon. I reviewed their first album ever last year because it came out in June, July maybe. Super high energy punk music, and I just love the way the lead singer just belts out all of his lines. He's so cool. I love him a lot. I think he follows me on Twitter. And also, one thing of note, this is from the record label Undulates. They are super cool in that all of their albums on Bandcamp, unless they are free, they are all name your price. So if you just want to pay $1, you can. So my recommendations here for this band is going to be their 2023 EP titled Pleasant Sadness and ... It is probably my favorite thing they've made so far. It's only 5 songs, but This Is a Pen and the other song called MGDYRKRNI are some of my favorite punk songs ever. But in case you want something a little bit longer, they also have their debut album on here too. It is simply called Self-Titled. It is also Pay What You Want For It. My favorite song is the one called Fuck Summer. It goes so hard. I think you'll like it too if you are into high octane punk rock. It is so cool. I think you'll like it. And you can get it for $1. Come on. Maybe give them 4, I think. So next we are taking a short sort of interlude here. I want to talk about 2 albums, which I talked about very recently on my channel. It is going to be the albums Hokorobi by Sonoko Inoue and also Hokorobi by the band Beachside Talks. They are just about $15 each, and I recently rated these 2 albums 10 out of 10s because I truly think they are worthy of that score. The one from Sonoko Inoue is a country folk album, but it has so much personality and humor and just absolutely captivating guitar melodies, riff, licks, so great. And then on the other hand, the album from Beachside Talks is very much shoegaze, except it's also hip hop. And it is a really cool and very interesting combination of those two genres that is really worth a listen, in my opinion. And if you're so interested, here's my reviews on them. Go check them out. I think they're really good reviews, and you'll like them a lot. As will you like these two fantastic albums, because guess what? They're fantastic. Next up is the 2015 album from the band Shinda no Boku no Kanojo, and in English, they would be called My Dead Girlfriend. This album, which is titled Hades, parentheses, the 9 stages of change at the deceased remains, end parentheses, is such cool Japanese rock music. It is shoegaze, it is punk, it is heavy, it is like a little bit poppy too. I think I would have to say that this is one of the internet's favorite Japanese albums of the last like 10 years, and that album cover is gorgeous too. This can all be yours for $4. Please buy this for $4. You've earned this. Please check it out. It is an awesome album, and I know you will like this a lot. So this next album is partly why I am cosplaying as a car salesman, because I need to sell you on this. There is this fantastic Japanese shoegaze band called Moon in June. They just came out with their newest album, which is fantastic. And if you want to catch up on their prior albums, they're here on Bandcamp. My favorite is probably the one called Evergreen, and that's from 2022, though they also have their 2023 album on here too. They are very much standard classic shoegaze, but their vocalist is incredible, and they have some fantastic guitar work on here too that I think you'll like a lot if you are into shoegaze and just kind of nice, soft shoegaze melodies. If you would like to purchase Evergreen, it will cost you $6. I say do it. Okay, so next up is one of my favorite albums from last year, and that is going to be Mahogako by the artist Hakushi Hasegawa. This is glitch pop, industrial pop. It is like hyper jazz, hyper pop, hyper rock, hyper ballad. Like, it is all over the place. It is so fantastic, and it all coalesces into such a beautiful package. I don't think this is for everyone. I would also really say that the first half is kind of hard on the ears if you don't really know what you're in for, but that second half is just like pure beauty. And then hopefully after you complete it, you will listen to it again, and then you'll really appreciate some of those very first few songs because they are divine as well. This will only cost you $10, which I think is a steal. And in case you're not interested in this, Hakushi also has some of their earlier music, particularly I think it's 2018 EP, yes, for $6. It is called Somoko Hodo. It is very famous. You've probably seen the cover of it at some point. It is so much fun. It is very jazzy, very electronic, kind of poppy too, and I think you will like the music a lot, so long as you're into very experimental genres. But, Mahogako is a 10 out of 10 album. I love it a ton. And there is a reason why there's no review of it on my channel yet, and so hopefully you will be finding out why next month. That's my plug. Next up, we have my favorite album from the garage rock, kind of indie rock band Lucy 2. This album is titled Fool, and it is so good. I love this album. I love the instrumentation and the lyrics and also all of the vocals on here, and I know you will too. This is probably one of my favorite albums of the past like 5 or 10 years, and I don't even think that is generally confined to only Japanese music. I love everything here. It is a very short album. I think it's only like 23 minutes, but man, it packs a punch. It is so cool. I love it a lot. My favorite songs are Fool, Shiwa no Tane, and also Get Back. This is going to run you $12. Totally worth it. This is a highlight for sure. Okay, so next up is going to be the EP Sound of My Heart by the artist Emma Ibata. I had actually just talked about her on my review of the Avis album. I love her music so much. This EP here is a lot of electronic kind of breakcore, drum and bass, all kinds of stuff like that. So with that said, if you are into a lot of fast-paced electronic music, this is the EP for you. It is going to cost you, I think that's like $6 or $7. I think you should do it. I think that's worth it. And I like the cover. It's super fun. And that's just kind of her personality in general, it looks like. So check it out. Like $7. So next up on the list is actually another album from the record label Undulates. And this is going to be Kudaranai Ichinichi's Rebound. Not my favorite album of theirs. However, it has some of their most popular tracks ever, such as Yaru Senai, such as Red Eye's Alternative Black Dragon. In case you haven't seen my video on it, I actually reviewed their 2024 album, I think in December, and I liked it a lot. And this album is a lot like it too, though of course that album is now my favorite of theirs. But this is absolutely fantastic, and also because it's from Ungulitz, you can name your price for it. So if you want, you only have to pay $1. Though I think you should pay a little more than that. And with that said, those are all of my recommendations for Bandcamp Friday 2025, May 2nd. Please, 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 please spend a few dollars somewhere on this website that day. I love all of these bands, and they are all very much worthy of your money and your time, and I very much think that they would love to have you purchase something of theirs, because that would make them happy and that would make me happy. And in case you do, let me know in the comments or on Twitter, and I would just like to have that in my heart, that I have successfully influenced you to buy something. That is all I have for you. Once again, mark your calendars, May 2nd, that is a Friday. Go spend your money there and get these artists paid. Thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.